Hi, thanks very much for clicking on today's Idle Chat. My guest is Kira Nurieli in Florida. How are you, Kira?
I'm doing well. Thank you, Natalie.
Good. You're all psyched up to have an Idle Chat?
I'm psyched up. Excellent.
All right. All right. So, and now you understand these are not cutting edge journalistic questions. This is just so we can get to know you better, yeah?
Absolutely.
All right. So, first question, what is something that you're just irrationally good at?
Ooh, irrationally good at. Um, so I want to answer it, but you know the way the mind works is the way I know myself is not necessarily exactly aligned with the feedback I get from other people. So something I'm irrationally good at that I've heard from other people is that I'm able to juggle a lot. I'm able to take on a lot in my day, in my life. And that's pretty cool. It doesn't feel like a lot to me per se, because that's just how I roll. But this is what I've heard. So I'm gonna stick with that for today.
Multitasking, that is definitely something that most of us wish we were irrationally good at.
Well, I
Here,
want to clarify. Sorry. I'm
no,
just
go
going to
ahead.
clarify. I don't know that it's multitasking, like doing multiple things at the same time, but it's like holding a lot of different things or wearing a lot of different hats in my day, if that makes sense.
It does. It does. It makes perfect sense. And I'm a bit jealous.
Okay.
A bit jealous. Kira, what is the kindest thing that anyone has ever said about the work that you do?
Oh, it's hard to think of the kindest thing that someone said, but something that someone has done is I ended a contract, and there was one person in particular who like refused to stop working with me, despite ending the contract with the company. So this individual just maintained contact with me, kept sending me updates, not necessarily, recognizing the boundaries of what I could say, considering what this person was going through, but just wanted to continue the connection, felt like I really cared, which I did, about what this person was going through. And so that was really lovely. And I felt like a beautiful testament to the fact that I really built a relationship of caring, that it wasn't just me coming in as a strategic partner, but also someone who has something of a heart-based care and concern for the people I work with.
Oh, that is genuinely flattering.
Yeah,
Oh, very nice. All
yeah.
right, now, Kira, the next question can create some divisiveness
Okay.
in the home. Toilet paper.
Yes.
Should it go over or under?
I think we go over. Is there a psychology behind that though? Because I would love to hear it if so.
I don't know if there's any social studies done on this, but your answer is absolutely correct. In my opinion, there is only
Okay.
one way to feed the roll onto the holder, and that is over.
Got it.
All
Good
right.
to know.
Just a little affirmation.
Yeah.
Next question. Uh, are you the person who is the fast walker or the mall speed stroller?
See, I think I can go either way depending on the context. That's what I'm saying about wearing different hats, right? So I could end up intentionally walking around the neighborhood slowly with my dog. In fact, I shared a little video clip about what I can learn from my dog in terms of conflict, that despite the fact that I may want to go for a walk at a certain pace, my dog may have other ideas. And so I kind of just need to be flexible and sometimes follow her lead in order to have a peaceful experience of having walked my dog. So I think it just depends on the context. If I'm walking my dog, then it may be slower than I otherwise might. And then if I'm looking to just get somewhere quickly, or if I don't know, pull in my New York persona, then I'm going to be going at quite a clip.
That is a very mediator answer. It depends.
It
All right.
depends.
It depends. Next question. When you are playing a board game or a table game, cards, something like that, Are you the rules lawyer, or are you just sort of a, oh, let's just play kind of person?
So I want to say a little bit of neither. I do like to play, and I will check the rules, but I'll also go with what feels right in the moment with the other people, though. So I'll work collaboratively to make our rules. And this actually happened with a particular board game that I played with my daughter in particular. We realized that neither of us really liked one of the rules. So we decided together we're going to play it a little bit differently. And we've had a really fun time playing this game differently than the rules that are written for us.
I think that's perfectly justified. You don't like the rule, and at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. Make up your own, be creative, have fun.
Exactly. Because we just wanted to have fun together. So it doesn't really matter what the rule book said.
Good for you. I like that perspective.
Yeah.
Kira, what is your hostessing specialty? The thing that you sort of always pull out when people come over to your house?
Um, let's see. Always pull out. Well, my husband introduced me to, he has a Middle Eastern background. And he introduced me to this idea of, you welcome people and then food first, talk later. That people come to your house and they're probably hungry, they're probably a little thirsty. So first be generous and offer some food, some drink, and then get into the talking. So I can't say that that comes as naturally to me as it does to him because of his background. Culturally, that's not necessarily what I grew up with. Not that I grew up with people who were like, let's talk and never eat. But I think that that's something that I've learned to really appreciate, and I do my best to follow.
That's actually a really nice tradition to feed people, nourish people, take care of people before you sort of jump into the heavier stuff. And the
Exactly.
conversations don't have to be heavy, but it's nice to be cared for when you go to visit somebody's house.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
First, like Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? First, take care of like the food, the hunger, the thirst, and then we can get to the conversation.
I like that. That's a really good one. Good for your husband. Um, is there something that your younger self did that
Mhm.
your present self is just amazed by?
I think I was really bold and um, didn't necessarily follow the rules. I'm I like the word amazed by because it's neither necessarily a good thing. Like I'm not necessarily admiring it, nor am I feeling like, oh, that was terrible. But it is pretty incredible. And I don't necessarily remember all of the details of what I did when I was, call it in my teens and 20s. So sometimes I'll hear stories and I'm like, really? That's what I did? So I guess I am amazed by things. And usually it falls under the category of like, I did something really bold, really, really brassy, and I didn't even remember it.
Good for you. Naturally sassy. That's nice.
Yeah.
Comparatively, I spent most of my 30s fixing all the things I broke in my 20s.
Ah,
So that,
yes. Yes.
yeah, good for you. Kira, let me ask you the question that I ask all of my guests as the last question in an idle chat. And that is, tell me a little bit about what you love most, appreciate most, find inspirational or motivational about the work that we do in the resolution industry.
Yeah, so what most inspires me is the thing that inspired me way back when I started about 25 years ago, which is that you never really know how the thing will unfold. And it's just fascinating. Every conversation is just a little bit different. And that keeps me humble because I really don't know what will come from the conversation. And it's not up to me to control it. But it is something that I savor and cherish as part of the work is that I can sit in that fascinating space of like, will they or won't they? Will she or won't she? Right? That I really just never know where it's going to go. And in fact, I'm on the mediation panel for the New York City Family Court, so for custody and visitation. And it's funny because sometimes the coordinator will turn to me in an email and say, do you think this will get to an agreement? And I'm like, how would I know that? I'm always struck with like, I don't know. Like the conversations are always sticky, and I don't have a crystal ball. So I'm usually or often struck by like not really sure how to answer that question when she asks it. And to me, that's because I'm really fresh in the moment, not putting people in boxes, embracing a growth mindset that even though we may have had two or three mediation conversations that did not come to an agreement, doesn't mean that in their human capacity, they cannot and will not, right? So I'm always staying with that curiosity mindset because I have seen such fascinating things happen in the course of the work. And that's true whether it's coaching or mediation or facilitation of some sort, even leading a training. People will ask just fascinating questions, really, so catch me off guard very often. And I love that. I love that, staying in the surprises.
Appreciating the unscripted in your work is one of the reasons I so deeply love having these idle chats for the ABA's section for dispute resolution. They are unscripted and always such a fun journey, such a pleasant surprise. Thank you so much for spending some of your time with me and having an idle chat.
You're very welcome.
Oh,
Pleasure.
I will edit this in. Kira,
Yeah.
if someone wants to reach out to you and learn more about the work you do, or just ask a question about resources or the process, what have you, what's a really great way for them to find you?
Well, I have a website, harmonystrategies.com, right? That's plural, harmonystrategies.com. I'm also accessible on LinkedIn, so they could kind of look me up on LinkedIn. As far as I know, I'm the only Kira Nurieli on LinkedIn, so should be easy to find. Either way, I'd be honored to have a conversation, an idle chat, if you will, or something very strategic, depending on what the person's seeking.
Thanks so much.